Did you know historical figures like Mozart and Einstein are speculated to have autism or Asperger's syndrome? Hello, all. We are here to list down 8 famous historical figures with autism or Asperger's syndrome. At number 1, we have Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, who was born on 12th Feb 1809, had behavioral disorder. He was a solitary child like other people suffering from Asperger's syndrome. His emotional immaturity and fear of intimacy extended to adulthood. He was a compulsive letter writer, but these were almost devoid of social chat. He was a rather obsessive-compulsive and a ritualistic man. Despite his disorder, he proved himself and was an English naturalist, geologist, and biologist, best known for his contributions to the science of evolution. Next up at number 2 is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, arguably the most prolific composer of the classical period. He was said to display a number of unusual social behaviors, which later was termed as autism spectrum disorder. He struggled with impulse control and often engaged in dangerous behavior. He composed more than 600 works, including operas, concertos, and symphonies, and his love for music was discovered at the tender age of 4. It can be clearly seen autism doesn't define who they are and does not limit what they can achieve. Next up, we have Albert Einstein at number 3. As a child, Einstein was a loner and repeated sentence obsessively until he was 7 years old. It is suspected that he too showed signs of Asperger's syndrome. When he started growing old, he couldn't speak, when on the other hand, children of his age were learning words and speaking sentences. After his 3rd birthday, he began to speak in complete sentences without hesitations. To ensure he was saying the words properly, he would say the sentence to himself under his breath before pronouncing it aloud. An odd trick, to be sure. In school, he would read quietly and build elaborate houses of cards. And today, we know what he has contributed to our lives. At number 4 is Stanley Kubrick. Although never truly identified with autism, as he was born in 1928, long before autism even had a name. Michael Fitzgerald and co-writer Victoria Lyons diagnosed Kubrick in retrospect, discussing him in their book Asperger's Syndrome, A Gift or a Curse. Kubrick fit the autism spectrum. He had poor social skills, narrow and obsessive interests, literal thinking, inflexibility, and more. Asperger's was clearly a gift to the artistic world in this case. At number 5, we have Charles Richter, another historical figure suspected to have Asperger's syndrome. People who knew him described him as a walking contradiction. He was just sorely lacking in social skills and yearned to connect with people to share his wisdom. He couldn't deal well with the give and take of a classroom situation or a scientific conference. He was brilliant, but his mind was all over the place, all the time. The experts will tell you that such stiff, one-sided, pedantic conversations are a classic hallmark of Asperger's. Now we have at number 6, Alan Turing, one of the most intelligent people in the world, the man who invented the computer, who theorized on artificial intelligence and came up with the Turing test, who was a brilliant mathematician, clearly experienced autism spectrum. How? The signs like being arrogant, desire to work alone, and being direct in his speech, which comes across as rude, are the common symptoms an autism personality reflects. At number 7, the last of all, is the man who had an idea while seeing the apple drop. Yes, we are talking about Isaac Newton. Some people suspect that he did have Asperger's syndrome, while others think it is unlikely. Well, Isaac Newton lived before the condition of Asperger's syndrome was identified. Though he displayed personality and cognitive traits of Asperger's syndrome. According to autism expert Simon Baron-Cohen says, it's impossible to diagnose someone who is no more but can be based on some known aspects of his life. He was a brilliant personality with autism. Aren't you amazed at the number of special people who have revolutionized the world? At the end, we would say, don't let autism define you. You define autism like these famous personalities. If you would like to watch similar videos, please subscribe and do like, share, comment and let us know what you would like to know next. Bye-bye.